How do you think you're going to feel when they ask you, why did you chop down all the trees?
Tonight, confrontations rise between police and protesters who want to stop all old-growth logging in British Columbia.
Other people are coming to the venue and they get to contribute and be part of it. And then the other people walking to work past the mural who will see themselves.
And Indigenous artists are in Yellowknife for a one-week mural festival to learn from and empower each other. Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. We begin on Vancouver Island, where arrests of logging protesters near Fairy Creek continue. And the protesters are worried that someone may get fatally injured. Confrontations between RCMP and protesters are on the increase. The RCMP said 49 people were arrested in Fairy Creek just yesterday, bringing the number of arrests to nearly 700. A court injunction was issued in May allowing logging company Teal Jones to operate in the area. The company hasn't logged there since June, but protesters have remained. They want no old-growth logging in the province. Rainbow Eyes has spent 3 months protesting. She says there is a worry about violent arrests.
So it's getting so incredibly brutal and unfair. There are people on the ground who are beginning to talk about what to do if somebody is fatally injured. Like, it's just not okay that the RCMP are working with industry.
And we'll have more on the protests and confrontations over old-growth logging on tomorrow's newscast. The Northwest Territories is calling on the federal government for help with COVID-19 cases, which have skyrocketed this week in remote communities. The outbreak, which began earlier this month, has spread to 6 communities. Since the weekend, numbers more than doubled to 128 confirmed cases in the N.W.T. The majority of the cases are in the Sawtooth, a region with lower vaccination rates. Vaccination clinics are set up in the communities, but with only 2 ICU beds in the entire territory and a shortage of nurses, the N.W.T is asking the feds and the Red Cross for support with staffing and help with testing. The race to be president of Inuit Tapiriit Kanatami is over before it began. ITK confirmed via press release today that a familiar face will be helming the National Inuit organization. Natan Obed was acclaimed today as ITK president, as no one offered to run against him. This 4-year term will be his 3rd, and he has stated publicly that it will be his last. To the federal election now. 3 candidates are now declared in the northern Manitoba riding of Churchill, Kawaitnuk-Aski. It's an all-woman race, and 2 of the 3 candidates are Indigenous. Cross Lake First Nation councillor Shirley Robinson is running for the Liberals and has been endorsed by the Northern Manitoba Chiefs organization. Charlotte Larocque is a Métis entrepreneur who is running for the Conservatives. Both hope to unseat Nikki Ashton, the non-Indigenous NDP MP who has held the seat since 2008. The riding has the largest Indigenous population in Canada. 61% of the people living there are First Nations or Métis. Voters will take their pick on September 20th. At the wharf in southwestern Nova Scotia, where the Mi'kmaq treaty fishery is based, tensions were raised after someone removed an Acadian flag. It could have been an issue that led to bad feelings in the Acadian community. Instead, as Angel Moore reports, it didn't end up that way.
Your flag is back up. My deepest apologies to the locals here in Clare.
That's Levi Paul, a Sabaganagati First Nation lobster harvester. He and his crew replaced the Acadian flag the day after someone cut it down. Paul said people complained.
We went to go pick up some bait and talked to a few of my older friends from Clare community here. And they were pretty upset about their flag being cut down.
Sbaganagity lobster harvesters have been fishing and living in this area for generations, alongside the Acadian community. Paul said removing the flag was disrespectful.
And it really, really touched home with me because, like I just said, I have a lot of friends in this community that are seniors, and that was like a stake driven right through their hearts.
The treaty fishery launched this week, a Mi'kmaq right the feds do not recognize, and the commercial fishermen say is illegal. But Paul says the people in the area are supportive.
Because these people put their flag up to show us that they're here supporting us. They didn't put their flag up here to say that they own this all. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and this is something that our people need to recognize, because it's not really the Acadian people, right?
Paul hopes replacing the flag will help build stronger relationships with the Acadians.
And we chipped in and went and bought the flag. We smudged and blessed it, and we put it back up for you guys in respect. Yes.
The Mi'kmaq and the Acadian flags once again fly together as the Mi'kmaq assert their treaty right. Angel Moore, APTN National News, N.W.T, also known as Halifax.
Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth released a new report today. It asked youth about the challenges they face in the province, as well as what solutions they need to address those problems. Here's Daryl Stranger with more details on that report.
Titled The Right to be Heard, the report focuses on youth in the province and what they need for their well-being. The main challenges they encounter are substance use, mental health and well-being, poverty, and violence. According to youth advocate Ainsley Crone, when asked for solutions, 79% of youth identified the need for more mental health and addiction services in Manitoba.
That's another really key thing that that we're hoping comes out of a report like this, is that it provides organizations, youth-serving organizations, governments of all levels, whether it's Indigenous governments, whether it's the provincial government, federal government, whoever, anyone who has influence over the lives of young people, in the lives of young people, that there's information in this report that can be useful for you.
The Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth heard directly from 293 youth in 63 locations through focus groups and an online survey.
They identify ideas and solutions that I think can be really inspiring for those of us who hold positions where we have influence in the lives of young people, where we have the ability to make decisions that impact the lives of children. This is really a call to action and a challenge in some ways to all of us to really listen to the voices of young people in the work that we do every day.
Sophia Stang is part of the Youth Ambassador Advisory Squad that helped provide youth input into the project.
What our group does is we just provide youth input on current events and reports that everybody's working on, and we get together and we kind of share our points of view, and we to share what life looks like as a youth right now.
Indigenous youth, youth living in northern Manitoba, youth in custody, and youth who have immigrated to Canada gave feedback.
This report that we're talking about today is kind of reaches out to youth all over Manitoba. So it gets an even larger view of what's going on in the province and different communities, because we all the communities have their separate struggles that we can't always provide input and insight on.
While Crone will not make any formal recommendations from the report, she hopes governments and decision makers use it to take action. Daryl Stranger, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Time for a quick break. Still to come, a new organization set up to help day school survivors. Stay with us. Welcome back. A new organization was launched today to help survivors of federal Indian day schools. Called the McLean Day School Settlement Corporation. It's part of a settlement to a class action lawsuit. Today, the corporation's board members were named: James Agliliorte, Claudette Commanda, and Chief Roger Augustine. In 2019, Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Carolyn Bennett announced a $1.47 billion settlement. $200 million was set aside for a legacy fund, and the McLean Corporation will implement and administer that fund. It's named after the lead plaintiff in that suit, Gary McLean, who you see there, who sadly passed away shortly before Bennett's announcement. McLean's daughter remembered his outlook on life.
The experiences he endured, survived, and spent his life working through were used as tools to create connections and support. He thought there's nothing that can't be talked about. You may not be in agreement, but instead of getting angry or upset, talk to the person or someone you trust. Have faith the situation can be worked out. He felt it wasn't his job to bring you down, but to try to lift you up in whatever you were facing or dealing with.
Well, to speak more now about the McLean Day School Settlement Corporation, we're joined by Chief Roger Augustine. He's the Atlantic Regional Chief for the Assembly of First Nations and newly appointed board member of the corporation. Chief Augustine, thanks for being with us today. When you think of day schools, students didn't have to stay overnight and went home. So were some of the things they went through similar or different to residential school survivors?
Well, when you think about how the structure, how it was put together, it's hard to determine at this point. Like I know that the abuse took place during the day too as well, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't something that just happened at night, right?
Chief, $200 million will go towards this legacy fund. How will the McLean Corporation determine how the money is spent?
Well, that question is very important. And one of the things that we're doing now, we're going to be traveling across the country to get input from the survivors and the communities too. So they'll determine how that's going to happen.
What do you see this legacy fund and the new corporation doing for survivors?
Well, right now, like the biggest thing, like today, we talked a lot about wellness programs and providing the wellness support for the survivors, and also looking to the future. We got to find ways to deal with the issues now facing survivors. And now, even though we're talking about the Indian Day School, it's right now somehow it's merging with the residential schools. So now we get two sort of double jeopardy here.
Once you've engaged with survivors across Canada, how will they access the funding?
It's going to be the same process that we use with the Indian Residential School. It's applications, and some of these applications will be assessed the same way.
Chief Augustine, we'll have to leave it there, but appreciate you coming on to tell us about the fund.
Yeah, anytime you want. Though I know now we had some technical problems, but I'm prepared to sit down with you and give you an in-depth interview on this stuff.
That sounds great. Thanks for your time today.
Take care. Bye.
Time to step aside for another quick break. Coming up, funding to help get women into the construction trades. Welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. Our viewer Diane Gauthier stopped to celebrate her hike up Thunder Mountain in northern Ontario, in Thunder Bay there, and if you look real close you can see the sleeping giant behind Diane. Great views up there on that mountain. Our very own Jesse Andrushko reminded us that today is World Photography Day, so we want to thank all of our viewers that have contributed photos to our photo of the day each and every day, and you can still submit your photos to share@aptn.ca. Well, let's take a look now at Friday's weather forecast. Starting on the East Coast, 24 with showers in Halifax, 28 and rain for Fredericton, 13 in Inukjuak, 13 with showers for Nain, 32 in Montreal, 27 in Chibougamau, 31 under sunny skies in Sault Ste. Marie and North Bay, 30 and sunny for Thunder Bay, showers and 30 for Sioux Lookout, 16 with rain in God's Lake, 1 degree cooler and rain in Norway House, showers and 23 in Winnipeg, 14 with rain in Dauphin, 16 and rain for Regina, showers and 19 for Saskatoon, rain and 13 in Uranium City, showers and 17 in La Ronge. In northern Alberta, 18 in Fort McMurray, 14 with showers in Fort Chip, 20 in Medicine Hat, 21 in Edmonton, showers and 20 in Vancouver and Victoria, 22 in Prince George with rain, 19 in Dease Lake, 12 in Old Crow, 19 for Whitehorse and Watson Lake, 15 with showers for Yellowknife, 18 in Norman Wells, snow and +3 for Sax Harbor, rain and 14 in Paulatuck, 9 in Chesterfield and Arviette, 0 in Resolute, 11 in Igloolik. Women wanting to work in skilled trades from 4 Manitoba First Nations will be part of a new government-funded training program. Michelle Karlinzig has more on how the program is helping women break gender gaps in the construction sector.
Yesterday, the province of Manitoba announced $600,000 towards skilled trades for Indigenous women. The program is partnering with the Manitoba Construction Sector Council in hopes to create jobs and prosperity.
Contractors immediately see the benefit of women in their workforce, and unfortunately, like I just said, we cannot find enough women to fill vacant positions. This project will aid in solving this problem.
19-year-old Sieta Marsden started taking a liking to carpentry at an early age and began the program in Penamutang First Nation this month.
It's a very cool course, and the women too are also very supportive.
The programs will run in 4 communities across Manitoba, including Penamutang, Pimachikamak Cree Nation, Dakota Teepee Nation, and York Landing. Marsden says the program has helped her overcome gender barriers.
You don't see a lot of women in trades, so it is intimidating, but I think just, ignoring that fact and just going out there and doing what you do would definitely make a change in your perspective.
Economic Development Minister John Rise says 8,000 trade workers are expected to retire this year, and there aren't currently enough skilled workers to replace them. Marsden says it's time to start empowering young women in skilled trades.
We need women in there to let the youth. We need women in there to show the younger generation that it's okay, that I did it, you can do it. I will be your role model.
According to the Manitoba Construction Sector Council, women make up just 3.4% of the construction industry. Michelle Karlinzig, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
Indigenous artists are reclaiming space in the Northwest Territories with a week's worth of celebrations. Our reporter Charlotte Moore-Jacobs hears from those promoting art as a way of building a stronger and healthier Yellowknife.
And we were trying to think of what represents a strong, healthy women, and I remember I was just like imagining my grandma, my mom, and like my ancestors and what the women have been doing.
With every brushstroke, 21 Indigenous artists and countless community members are reclaiming space. Nonprofit organization Strong People, Stronger Communities has been working the past year to bring the week-long mural festival to life. For artists like Kyla Lesage, it's been a rewarding experience.
Being able to reconnect with the land has brought me to this mural, and I wouldn't be in this mural team, I feel like, without my reconnecting to the land and my family and the traditions. But as we're painting there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is soothing. Like, I can listen to other people talk. I hear the babies are coming and painting, and I'm standing there like, I'm not crying. Like, how do I hold this in?
The Strong Healthy Women's mural is one of 6 soon to be hung throughout Sambake, Yellowknife.
And so I thought back and I was like, oh, we gotta bring in and break down gender roles and really hold up our women and really show the leaders and the caregivers and the nurturers that we have in our communities. And so we really wanted to incorporate, like, women are gonna be out there chopping wood, they're gonna be setting fire, they're gonna be putting up their own wall tents, they're gonna be hunting caribou, and so you can see caribou in there.
This is Melanie Jewell's first mural.
We didn't plan out colors, so it's just all been like on the spot today. Since going to art school, it's been like, you know, this isn't good enough. You know, you're like doing art critiques and there's always going to be someone pointing out like, this is good, but this isn't good. So I'm also trying to get away from that. So it's been really hard to unlearn that as well.
The festival also includes young Indigenous artists for mentorship, like 18-year-old Lexis McDonald from Inuvik.
There's like a lot of like self-discovery and like just learning about like the Two-Spirit itself. I plan on bringing a lot of that kind of knowledge back as well and like finding my place in the community. So I'm very excited to go home with all this like new knowledge and experience.
Leanne Charlie has been part of many mural projects and sees the payoffs firsthand.
It started with the 3 of us in the middle of a pandemic in the dark, basically, on Zoom, talking about Indigenous, like the strength and health of Indigenous women, to then meeting and knowing that other teams are doing this too, and then we get to all be together, and then other people are coming to the venue and they get to contribute and be part of it. And then the other people walking to work past the mural who will see themselves.
So if you want, you can take that near it.
Organizers say they are securing locations for the 6 murals to be hung this fall. Charlotte Mort-Jacobs, APTN National News, Yellowknife.
Some great looking work there. Well, that's all the time we have for your APTN National News for this Thursday. For news anytime, you can visit our website, aptnnews.ca, and never miss a headline by downloading the APTN News app. I'm Dennis Ward. Thanks for being with us. Have a great night.